Yeah, there are risks to a ketogenic diet done incorrectly. So that's the one caveat, that if I feel that people are not disciplined in their ketogenic protocol, if they're not willing to make the necessary adjustments, then I would suggest to not do a ketogenic protocol. Like, I wouldn't do the ketogenic diet. So the first thing I would want people to do is just to find out how metabolically damaged they are by either answering the big questions. I'm putting up a Q&A on my website for people to just go and say, to figure out if they've got, like, what category do they fit in to try a ketogenic protocol. Like, do you have thyroid? Do you have adrenal? Are you hypoglycemic? Those are my big worries for people trying keto. I'm not worried about, or if you have heart disease and, you have to up your sodium, for example. If you've got weak arteries and then you've got to dump a bunch of sodium into your diet because your electrolytes drop, you would have to be very careful how you administer your sodium intake on a ketogenic protocol, whereas other people who've got strong arteries then don't have to worry about the extra sodium intake. But really and truly, like, pregnant women and elderly people, I wouldn't suggest for people to run out and do a ketogenic protocol, or polycystic ovarian syndrome women. If you, first of all, if you're processing a lot of drugs and pharmaceuticals, or your sleep sucks, you're having, how do I explain this? If you're having obvious health symptoms, then you have to graduate yourself down very slowly on a ketogenic protocol as to not go through a keto flu. So a lot of people will experience, let's say, heart palpitations because their potassium is too low, because their water volume has dropped too quickly. People who are hypoglycemic are the ones that I worry about the most, where their glucose drops down to 50 or 45 and they're not adapted. Like, that's dangerous. So you can't just do a ketogenic protocol overnight if you have severe hypoglycemia. That would be pretty dangerous. If you are hypothyroid and I get this all day. Stephanie, I'm doing keto and my hair's falling out. Why? And I'm like, it's your thyroid. They have no clue. A lot of people don't know their own health. They don't even know where they are. They're so used to being bloated and loose stool and constipation and cold and hair loss, and men, their testosterone's dropping and you're moody. Women are PMSing. And then they go and do a ketogenic protocol to lose weight. Then not only are they not going to lose weight, they're going to gain weight and they're going to feel sick. I had one guy go to a hospital because he simply just didn't drink enough water on keto. Because you drop water so quickly, your body becomes dehydrated. And with that comes electrolytes. And that's not safe. What if it's the summer and you're playing basketball and you're on a ketogenic protocol and you're losing a lot of water and then you're sweating out a lot of water? That's dangerous. So there are certain reasons why keto can be not safe for people who are not paying attention. So once you do all the checks and balances, you find out if you've got low blood pressure or hypoglycemia or thyroid, and or you have one of these health issues, and you want to use keto to lose weight, or you want to use keto to have a child, you've got to find out the state of your health before you administer a ketogenic protocol, because there's too long of a period where your body's not using ketones. And the longer you don't use ketones, the more it can make you sick, essentially. Does that make sense?
Definitely.
Okay.
I think with all the explaining you did earlier as well, so I think
okay.
that's a good explanation.
Cool.
But there was a listener who asked about, can a ketogenic diet be harmful for your liver?
No. How is that possible? Because of the fat?
I guess the question comes from the ketones being produced in the liver, maybe.
Ketones being produced in the liver, fatty liver. this all goes back to what I said before. It's not the actual ketones. If you have liver disease, if your enzymes are off, if your liver's fatty, I would work on that first. Because it's a stress to the body. It's very cortisol driven to not be adapted and to be producing high ketones and glucose. So being highly keto adapted means that you have to get the body in balance before your body will go into nutritional ketosis. So nutritional ketosis, no, it's not damaging to the liver at all. Now, I'm not a doctor, and I'm not on a 20-year study, but from what I've witnessed, I have not seen that as of yet. With working with thousands of people, especially with all the people on the internet that just contact me. But if you've got health issues, I don't care if it's fatty liver, kidney disease, thyroid, whatever it is, if you do keto not in a smart way and you still have allergenic foods that are going to mess with your liver enzymes, you're refeeding on alcohol, you're eating cheese that's high in casein, and then you're dropping your carbs. It's all of that, doing it the wrong way, that can affect your liver enzymes, not ketosis itself, no.
Are there any other common misconceptions regarding a ketogenic diet?
Well, it's sort of like what I said before. People think that they can do it and get into ketosis in like 2 weeks. And the biggest misconception about keto is I'm in ketosis. I hear it from everyone. I even hear it from professionals. And I'll be like, well, how do you know? Well, I use the urine strips. I'm like, that's ketones leaving the body. You want ketones in the cells. You don't want to lose any precious ketone in the urine. And that's why blood glucometers are so important, even though they can be off in their readings. It's the closest thing you're going to get. Not that breathalyzer, waste of time, and not the urine strips, because that's your body losing ketones. In fact, when you're adapted, the urine strip is clear. So the thing that's there's two things. One is that people think they're in ketosis. They're like, I did keto last year and I was in ketosis 3 times. I'm like, how do you know? Well, I wasn't hungry. Well, that's not making you in ketosis. That can make you use ketones. How much of your ketones were viable? It's way more complicated. So people keep thinking they're in ketosis. They're not. That's the biggest misnomer, the biggest misunderstanding. The second of all is that people think they don't understand why they're gaining weight on keto when they should be losing weight. And they're gaining weight because they were damaged before. A lot of women undereat. So as soon as you start putting in fuel, the body wants to soak it all up and just store. Because the body does not know we live in the modern time. It thinks that you're living outside and potentially starvation is always around the corner. We have the ability to get fat in 2 seconds for that reason. So if you do a ketogenic protocol and your insulin is still high and your glucose is still high through stress and gluconeogenesis because you're doing the ketogenic protocol the wrong way, then that insulin spike is going to make you store fat rather than burn fat. That spike in, you can eat 0 carbohydrates and still have diabetic high blood sugar. Your blood sugar can still be at like a 6.2. That's through gluconeogenesis. And then if your glucose is that high, so is your insulin. And then insulin is just going to make you store everything. So you have to get your ketones high, your glucose low. Under 4.4 millimolar for your glucose, or 80 milligrams per deciliter for the American system. And your ketone range must be between a 1.8 and about a 3.3 or 3.2 to have viable ketones, and 2.0 being the sweet spot. So the biggest misconception is that people think they're in ketosis when they're not, and that they think they're going to lose a bunch of weight the first couple months that they're on it, and they don't realize that they have insulin resistance, they're pre-diabetic, they're stressed out, and the body's just rejecting this whole ketogenic attempt. But if you do things the right way, and people who stick with me for a long time, they always adapt, and they always experience the incredible health benefits with keto, including fat loss.
With these common mistakes that you told us that people commonly make when trying to get into ketosis, do you think the listeners could try it at home, so to speak? I mean, could they try it on their own, or do they need to have some help to get into ketosis?
I think the problem is that the help that's out there is not good. And not to toot my own horn, toot toot, but I've worked really hard, and I'm strict for a reason. Everybody sees me as a strict person because when I first was, keto, quote unquote, coaching people, they weren't adapting. I was like, oh my God, they're not adapting. And then I learned that people have histamine intolerance, or they have hypoglycemia, they have all these health issues. And then I'm like, okay, we have to fix the issues as we're applying keto. So you can graduate your carbs down slowly over 5 weeks on your own. But this sounds so self-promoting, and it is. The best way is go look at my videos. They're for free on YouTube. I have over 1,000 videos, and yes, the first ones are kind of silly because I really didn't have a lot of the detail in the beginning. I was just very excited about talking about the benefits of this. But the later videos really go more in depth in explaining how you do this the right way. So a lot of people email me like, can you help me get into ketosis? I'm like, just watch my videos. And if you're patient enough, you'll see that a lot of those answers are there. Okay, you have adrenal fatigue. What do you do to fix that? Okay, you have insulin resistance. What do you do to fix that? Okay, you have chronic fatigue. You've got fibroids. You have headaches. You have leaky gut and bloated and poor digestion. You've got candida. Your skin's all jacked. Like, you have to learn how those problems came about. You have to go down the rabbit's hole and find out how you acquired those issues to start off with. And you start to repair those things. So if you have a candida issue, that's going to kind of slow down your keto adaptation. So we want to start like getting out those processed carbohydrates. So you can go from processed carbohydrates to like more vegetable carbohydrates that are higher in carb and slowly graduate yourself back down. And then deal with the candida at the same time. So can you do it on your own? Of course you can. But people do it the wrong way because they're too much in a hurry to lose weight. So, and the professionals out there will put your macros in the wrong amounts because they just simply haven't worked with enough people to even think about people with histamine intolerance and eczema. If you have eczema, you got to look at every single keto food that you eat, because if your body gets stressed eating particular foods, that's going to raise your blood sugar and you will not adapt. And that's the problem I had with a lot of people in the beginning is like, man, they're doing everything perfectly. Why aren't they adapting? And then we find out they have all these food sensitivities. And once you get rid of the food, they pop right into ketosis. So it's really about learning about the body and learning about your body. And don't look at the before and after crap pictures online because they're all lies. They're lies. Nobody tells you the truth. A lot of these people have digestive issues or they have celiac disease. And all you're looking at is how thin they are. So my suggestion is be careful what you look at on the internet that seems too easy and learn about the body. And if you really need guidance, just go to my videos because there's a ton of information there.
Great. And also, can anyone from Sweden actually work with you in any way, like over Skype or anything like that?
Yes, I mean, jag älskar alla mina svenska klienter because I've worked with so many Swedes. And I feel so fortunate. Yes, I do Skype consultations. So, which I will eventually stop doing them because, it's a lot of work. And I want to take what I'm doing to the next level. So my videos are crappy quality. Everything is like crappy because I put so much time and energy into people. But for now, I'm still doing them. And it's just to go on my website. And then you can book a consultation and do it Skype or WhatsApp or, FaceTime. So yeah, it's super easy if you're from another country.
And what's your website?
My website is stephanieperson.com. It is not stephanieperson.com. It is Stephanie Person. So when I went to Sweden, everybody thought I was Swedish, but my name is spelled with one S. And often people in the U.S., their names were changed along the way. So I don't know how I ended up with the Person last name, but stephanieperson.com. I would go to my YouTube channel for more learning, which is Stephanie Keto Person, or the other social media. Like my Facebook is really good because I only post about the body. I mean, I posted my trip, but I was really talking a lot about how to do keto as you travel, and to be appreciative for what you have. And that's Stephanie, the business person with quotations around the business, or Stephanie KETOGENIC on my Instagram. And you'll see some videos of me in Sweden last summer, my second home, Sweden. Love Sweden. And yeah, that's how you can get a consultation.
Great. And do you have, I heard some rumors about you having an event in Sweden this year. Is that true?
Yeah. Yes. I've been wanting to go, like, I'm kind of like the lone soldier on my own. So I'm not relying on the low carb community. I'm just taking it next level. So I had interviews in South Africa. I met with Tim Noakes, Professor Tim Noakes, who's a part of the Bantam community. He's really huge in the low carb, high fat, ketogenic community, and I was able to meet with him. It's maybe too soon to say, but there might be a book deal on the shelf. So with that book deal, I'll be able to travel to more countries and have more talks. So I had a talk in South Africa. I'm trying to get something going in Sweden. So yes, there is a talk in the works in Sweden and also in Australia. So I'm really, 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 really excited.
Perfect. And let me know when that is in Sweden, and I'll inform all the listeners and blog readers in Sweden as well, so they can come and listen to you.
Cool. Absolute.
Is there anything that you think we missed to discuss today? I mean, we had a few more questions, but I think we talked so much, so I guess you need to get to the gym now.
I think, maybe just some of the topics would be, I think we hit a lot of things. There's a lot of things, but I really want people to understand about not intermittent fasting too soon. That could be very, very problematic.